everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to the Crazy Craft Challenge. This is episode 3. I believe for now this is the final one, although I did hear some lurkings from Luise that there may be a few more of these coming at some point. So maybe not. This is a challenge that's been hosted by Pam at the Paper Outpost and Luise Heinzl from Junk Journal Art. I've linked their channels below in the description box. So today's Crazy Crafting Challenge is to use 5 prompts and words that start with the first initial of your first name. So my name is Cindy, and that starts with a C. So the words that I came up with for now are children, cloth, crochet, chipmunk, and crinkle. But I think as we go throughout this video, maybe we can add a few more C's if we come across them as I'm creating. So I think I've had things quite easy with the letter C. I'm worrying about poor Zelda and, Xavier and Yelena and people with harder names. Okay, I did a couple of things ahead of time so that this video would not be 500 years long. So I have started just a simple collage background, and what we're doing today is making a collage. That's the other part of the challenge I don't think I mentioned. So I did just start with kind of a basic piece of cardstock and added some cabbage dyed paper, some coffee dyed paper, and some other papers. And so this is going to be my background for what I'm going to create today. So I will set this aside and talk a little bit about the materials and what I did ahead of time. So ahead of time, I did one thing that I wanted to do with candle wax. So I took my children that I've chosen for the prompt, and these are children from 11.9 Digital Designs on Etsy. This is the vintage children set. I know Luise also has a set of like fussy cut people like this, which I don't know if I've gotten yet. I will if I haven't. I'm always looking for these fussy cutting kind of people because they're really great for collage. So that being said, I also took this chipmunk from the front of a Smithsonian children's book called The Chipmunk at Hollow Lane. I've been using it for another project. So what I did with these, and I've shown this technique in one of my Ephemeramber videos, the one that used wax, is I dipped these in beeswax that I keep in a skillet that I use for batik. So you'll see on this one there's some fine little black speckles. I wanted that there. It's fine. These are from I use some printing blocks they're from India. They're called Japs, and they're black like wood painted block prints. And so sometimes you get like little bits of the wood that comes off, and when you're printing a lot, like it's just little fine pieces of the block print, and so they've stuck in the wax. And then I've also done the same with the children. So the reason that I did this is because I'm also working with cloth, and because I'm going to use this as my cloth. It's a little bit of a thicker cloth. It's a woven cloth. And I figured, if I'm using this, and I'm also going to be using some crochet, I need my paper to be able to stand up on top of like different textures of fabric without getting all wrinkly and rumply. And I thought, I'll print it out on a thicker paper, which I did do, but then I still thought I want to wax these because that'll give me a really nice kind of finish. So these are the children. So I had to go with more than one because it's a plural word that I chose. And I think they're so cute. It's like this little boy. He has a teddy bear. There's a little stuffed kitten. There's a little stone wall here, and this little girl standing beside him with this kind of precocious look on her face. They both look like they're up to something or something's going on. And so I thought that would be appropriate that they could be hanging out with our friend, this giant chipmunk here. I like the idea of like, I don't know if anyone here has ever read the children's story, The Borrowers, but it's about these like little kids that kind of, they're little tiny cupboard dwelling kind of kids. And I'm really fascinated by things like the concept of little things in nature that are imaginary, like fairies and gnomes. And I like to depict little tiny people with animals. Like they're like secret little friends that live in places like your cupboards or your graveyards, or, you know, just little tree holes. It's just a lovely way to think about life, right? I used to have a friend who told me that when he was a child, I still have the friend, but when he was a child, he had someone in his life who used to leave like little tiny critters, little people inside the cabinets of his home. I think she was one of his caregivers, and I've always thought about how cute that is. You know, you think about opening up a cabinet for some, you know, granola or some peanut butter or something, and there's this little tiny person in there. So I'm certainly thinking about doing the same kind of thing with my children. So the other thing that I did ahead of time was I wanted to incorporate crochet. So I have this very messy looking scrap of a pineapple crochet doily in black, and I thought that was a nice color to use. I thought it would be a little more dramatic, and I just stitched it down on some very grungy kind of doubled up coffee dyed paper. I'm going to probably cut out a neater shape. I also thought it could kind of look a little like an acorn, so I thought it would be a nice thing in the background. So yeah, also crinkle. I've got some aluminum foil and some of my parchment that has been dyed with coffee and yellow dye. So that takes care of all of these prompts. So we are good. Okay, so let's think about what to do first. So this can go, this is just my waxy paper that I lay my little beeswax guys on. So I just use these kind of tweezers, hold on to them, plunk them in the hot beeswax, pull them out, and lay them on a piece of paper to just dry up. So that is how that's done. So I think I first need to just think about my background before I go too much further, and I think I want to first try to tackle this shape here. Now, I only stitched it in a few places, and it's probably not been stitched quite enough to get me the shape I want and to keep it down, but we'll see. So that's where I want to go on this side. On this side, it's actually stitched where I want it to be. So I'll go to the outside of the stitching here. Okay, so I'm going to go under this stitching. Just get rid of that bottom bit. Okay, so this is essentially the shape I'm going for. Now, I will use a little bit of Fabri-Tac to keep down that bit of crochet that's popping up where I had to cut the stitching because it wasn't in the spot that I needed. There we go. All right. That's that. So what I'm thinking is, this would be in the background, and I'm going to clip off this additional coffee paper that's under there because I don't need it. So that'll be a background piece, and then I'll use my kind of main pieces here to just get an idea of like how I want to structure this. I was sort of thinking like I like this, maybe he might be a little higher than them. Yeah. Okay. Now I need to think about the cloth and how I want to use the cloth. I'm sorry if you can hear my children upstairs. They're at this funny stage where I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, and they both have very different wants. And my daughter just wants to eat her breakfast in peace. My son wants to steal her breakfast and also be a wild child, and she's just kind of like, Mom, I'm gonna go sit in the dining room. And he's on the other side in the kitchen, and he can't get to her because we have a baby gate. so that he doesn't roam the entire house all the time. And yeah, it's it's a lot of negotiating in the morning sometimes. As most of you with kids know. Okay. It sounds like they've made peace now. That's good. Okay. All right. So I'm going to put another one of these cloth leaves back here. So I think that's a good use of that green cloth. And then our crinkles. Let me think about what kind of color I want to use. I'm just going to actually tear. Sorry if that's a little noisy. How do I want to use my crinkles? I'm thinking this would be really nice as a ground, because they definitely need some ground and some shading back here, some grounding. I'm thinking I might do a couple layers of that. This is going to be a very, very textured piece, which I like. And then our tin foil, or aluminum foil rather, I almost feel like it could be a cool representation of like a moon or something back here. But like, you know, kind of abstract. And maybe like little crinkly, let's see if we can crinkle something that kind of is like a star. Try to make a few little points, but like, you know, not perfect, but just kind of interesting, right? I like the shape of that. Yay. Okay, let's do another one of those. So I'm just kind of crinkling it onto itself to kind of make it rounder, just pushing it toward itself, right? Then you take what's left out here, and these are the points that you just pinch the two pieces of aluminum foil together. And you can choose to do 4 or 5, you know, however many you like. I did 5 on the last one. I'll do 4 points on this one. And I can overlap those. I think I want to do a couple more of those. I really like them. So you just need a little piece of tin foil for this, and you just squish it in. Oh, these are the fun discoveries that you make when you just do these kind of things. Isn't this great? You just come across these fun things that are so simple, but so fun. Okay. It's a little bit kind of wonky here. Let's turn it into 4 points. I think 5 just isn't going to work out on that one. And then we'll flatten it down a little because we don't want it to be too bulky. That's the other nice thing about tin foil is like it compresses so much that you really don't bulk your work up too much. The bulkiest thing about this, I think, is this crochet, but I wanted to use it, and I am still happy I used it because I think it looks nice. So let's do this one. See if I can get 5 points with this one instead of just 4. Maybe, maybe not. Nope. I'm going 4 again, I guess. Oh well, the big one, it has the 5 points. It's going to be the star. I think I'll put that one here. The Star of Stars. All right. Maybe one more. Okay, I'm going to push this into itself. Now 1, 2, 3. Try to make a divot here to keep a 4 and a 5. 4. 5. Okay, and then just smoosh. Okay. Okay, this is coming together. Yay! Now I have to lay this all down. Boo! That's the hard part for me always, is like keeping the collage sensible. But I'm actually just going to lift all of this up. I think I can recreate this. I don't think it's going to be too troublesome. So let's just give it a try here. We'll get these off. So first I will use the art glitter glue on the moon, if the bottle will cooperate. I know I need to clean it out here. Okay. Oh, I think it's still a little jammed, but there's some glue coming. Okay. And now this crochet bit, yeah, we have to unclog you again. Glue, why? Okay, now I don't need to use art glitter glue for this parchment paper. I'm just going to use glue stick. Of course I don't have my glue book. Here it is. I'm going to grab one page from my glue book. I don't want to be crowded too much right now with the whole glue book out here. Nice thing about when you dye parchment is you get naturally this like different color sort of mix, because it's like it crinkles up in the heat, so it's nice. And of course it's crinkly, so that's what we want. Okay. All right, now let's just refocus once more with our little people here and make sure that everything we hope is happening is in fact happening. So these guys are here. He's here about, I think, right about here. Yep, okay. So now we need Fabri-Tac to glue down the fabric, or the cloth rather. This is woven cloth. It was this beautiful vintage, like really heavy vintage dress. I can't imagine wearing it unless I lived in Siberia or something. Like, it would be so hot, but I absolutely fell in love with the fabric. The greens are beautiful. It's like a tealy green and a bright grassy green, or sort of like a technicolor grass color green. It's just really nice. Okay, the other one was going to go kind of behind here, maybe down a little more. Oops, a little more like that, I think. Yeah, okay, let's just give those a minute of smoosh time. Let's get the glue off my hands here. Just smoosh smoosh, get rid of this stray string. Now, Just going to give the stars one more press with kind of the back of my hand to just flatten them a little more. Okay. Now I think we can put our main focal points on. I'm just going to come in with a little bit of Distress ink. Before I glue the focal points on, I just want to get rid of this, I know there's some glue there and I'm not really concerned about it. I think it sort of adds to the textural aspect of things. Okay. Just want to grunge that up a little bit. Okay, and then, so he's like their big protector, and I love that. I'm going to use Fabri-Tac to put this down because it's going to be touching cloth. Otherwise, I would just, the wax will adhere with art glitter glue as well. But I just want to use the Fabri-Fix because it works. I know we're not going to use the whole tail, so I'm not going to cover the whole tail. I think about there. Yeah, oh yeah, I like that. He's a little higher this time, and I think I like that better. Let's make sure he's all pressed down. Especially on the crochet because it's the most bulky part of this. Okay. And then we'll glue down these kitties. Okay, and I'll just hold that for a moment. Just take a moment to have a deep breath. And we come back to this. Okay. I really wish that Fabri-Tac was an instant drying glue like art glitter glue, but we can't have everything in life, right? We only get so much. All right, he loses his tail because we can't have it in there. Oops. And I'm okay with that. Now the stars. Let's use Fabri-Fix to put those down, or Fabri-Tac rather. It's the same thing, but... Okay, so this was the 5-point star that I made first, I think, and I wanted it to be there. I don't remember exactly what the placement of all the stars were, but I'm just going to go with my heart right now. Okay. And then I think that the last thing I want to do, actually it's another C, which is to add some copper gilding wax. Now, I need to trim these edges, I think, a little bit. Oh, and I need to put a little more glue under here. We've got some lifting going on. I think I went a little light on the edge here. Also, Fabri-Fix just takes forever. Fabri-Tac takes forever to dry. I could probably hit it with my heat gun, but I'm just gonna just wait a little bit. Now I need to think about the edges here. Do I want to do anything? No, I think I'm fine for now. I'll probably go back and do some trimming once it's dry. But what I'll do right now is I think come in with a bit of gilding wax in this copper tone. I just want to like add a little here and there to just, I should probably use a page here. We have another C, copper. I wonder what that would look like on the foil. Not really all that different. It doesn't stick to the foil all that much, but that's okay. It's nice on the parchment though. All right, so there's that. And then I need to come in with my charcoal a little bit to do some shading, but I can't remember where my Derwent charcoal pencil is. I need to reorganize this little back shelf behind or in front of me that I have at the back of my desk. I definitely need to do that. I'll use instead some Tim Holtz, I think. And maybe I'll just actually use this same brush that I used for my copper. Let's add a little shading around their feet to give them some grounding. And under this squirrel as well needs a little bit of shading. Okay. All right, I think that this is pretty much done. I will be stitching, probably backing this with something and stitching it. And so I will post final photos of this on my Instagram. You can find me on Instagram as Studioloo or the @Studioloo symbol. And yeah, this was a lot of fun. So thank you so much if you joined me for this series. If you missed videos 1 and 2, you can find them on my channel here. Just search for the hashtag that I put in the title, The Crazy Craft Challenge. So again, thank you so much to Pam and Luise. I've linked their channels below. This was a really fun challenge to take part in, and I'm really enjoying this kind of communal, like working all together sort of feeling. It's really nice. So I will see you soon. I will stitch this up and I'll pop a picture on Instagram. I hope you all have a really lovely Saturday. Bye for now.